Can you have a supergroup when you're the sons of Steve Lukather of Toto and Phil Collins of Genesis? Well, judging from the talent in this band, I'd say yes. The band is called The Effect. Trev Lukather, son of Steve Lukather, and Nick Collins. He's Phil Collins' boy. They're our special guest on Rocky Stream Music. The band's rounded out by vocalist Emmett Lee Stang. That dude looks like a rock star. And Steve Majora, who's also in Trev's father's band. Maybe you've heard of them, Toto. We'll tell you all about their music in this part one, and of course again tomorrow when we present part two of our interview with Nick Collins and Trev Lukather on Rocky Stream Music.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. How you doing, guys?
How's it going, John? How's it going?
I'm just hanging out. I don't know if the back of my setting's busy enough. I was thinking of putting more stuff on it. Just more stuff.
It looks good. It's a nice vibe.
Yeah, cool. How you doing, guys?
We're in the kitchen, man. We're a little less cool, you know?
Okay, let's get going. By the way, both of you guys, I'm going to tell you, I don't want you to get upset with this, but I'm thinking of quitting my radio career and quitting YouTube and becoming your freaking roadie.
Oh,
Amazing.
you got it, man. The gig is yours, bro. Come on.
I have been bitching for the longest time. I'm going, you know what? I just want power pop rock stuff. I just want like guitar solos you were mentioning. Oh my God, imagine that. I want something that's hard rock, but also very melodic. Okay, let's start there. At what point, let's start with you guys getting together. Who called who did what, and how did you get that sound? What was the idea? Was that the criteria right off the bat?
Well, Trev put us all together, man. Like nobody knew each other other than we all knew Trev. And so I remember, at least with me, like we met for the first time in person in January of 2023. We'd been like friends on social media and stuff, but then we actually hung out, and, you know, at that time it was just, we were hanging, let's do some session stuff. I don't think Trev had any interest in being in a band at that time. And then I was on the road with
John knows that, man.
Yeah. No, and like we had an open conversation about it, you know, which was, and then I remember going on the road with Mike and the Mechanics, and then Trev hit me up saying, hey, are you interested in forming like a super group? And I think the intention at the beginning was like, you know, do a song, maybe 2, 3, like it wasn't anything that serious. And I was like, maybe like send me what you have in mind. And he sent me Unwanted, like the riff to Unwanted. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? And then from there, we started writing more, and it was like, oh no, we're a real band at this point. We all got together here at Trev's place and all kind of met each other, like Em and Steve. And just since then, it's just been kind of, I don't know, super easy. And it's kind of just been so fast in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, man. It was, you know, it was literally my own. I thought to myself, just knowing these guys separately and how great they are as human beings, it was just, you know, you can't just your past. It's like having a terrible relationship, and then I'm never going to be in a relationship again because this last relationship was so terrible. You know, if that was the case, I wouldn't be married right now, you know? So knowing Nick and Em and Steve separately and how just amazing people they are, but just obviously the musicianship and the talent from them, you know, it was my own personal super group, my own personal dream band, dream team, you know? So, you know, when it kind of was funny because the alignment of everyone's timing and kind of like open to this idea, myself included, it just was like divine timing, man. And I love Nick. He says that, you know, Unwanted was my business card, you know, because I had the riff, and I was like, all right, well, this is the idea that we have right now, like that I have, and if it's something that you guys would be into. And everyone was like, yeah. And then everyone starts adding their stuff, and he was out with Mike and the Mechanics, and this is the only Unwanted's the only tune that basically Nick was the last guy to track on the tune. But after that, it just became a thing where if there was a song, you know, the rest of the album was like, okay, song idea, layout, guitar. I sent it to him. He tracks his, like I said, just come up with anything you were thinking, and then we FaceTime. We were doing that because he lives in Miami. So we were doing a lot of FaceTime sessions actually all of it was FaceTime sessions for the album. But yeah, man, after that, it was like full systems go. And we all got together. We realized we all gelled as a band as well. So yeah, man, it's been a blast.
I like the video, and I love when people do this because everyone wants. I mean, social media world, man. People want to know what you're about. When you guys are shopping for clothing, what was it called? What was the name of that store that you were in? The sisters.
Oh, no, the Sister's Closet is my wife Madison and her sister Liza.
No way.
Yeah, and they're stylists, and actually Madison. She directed our video, so she's kind of been our content. Her and Liza have been our content creators, and doing the videos, doing the styling, doing the photographs, and they just added Michelle Brody. She's just an incredible photographer, videographer as well. So she joined the team. We just did some photo shoot the other day, and so a lot more coming. But yeah, so it's all in house, man.
There's another side of your relationship, which is, when I was just interviewing Jack Bruce's son, and we were talking about, being having your dad do this, and the cliche is always, well, he's just my dad, right? We hear that all the time. But you guys must have traded stories because you grew up in a very similar way.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think there was... going in, and I think it's mutual. Like, you're always kind of like, all right, what kind of, because, people who are like the offspring of a successful person, they kind of go one of two ways. They're either going to be, really cool, or it's going to be like, oh God, it's one of these, and
we all know one of those.
Yeah.
The brats. Yeah.
Yeah. And with Trev, it was like, from the get-go, I was like, wow, like within, right as we were kind of starting our friendship and having all these conversations, I was like, dude, I feel like we've lived similar lives and we relate on so much, and very similar, parallel kind of events and, I don't know, upbringings and just like experiences. So it really started, was like, oh, this is actually, it's a really cool thing where, we've obviously grown up in a very privileged and very lucky life, which, we're very grateful for. But to be able to be very vulnerable with each other and just be like, well, let's talk about the other side of it. Like, what have you kind of been through? And then to find that comfort in each other was really helpful, just in being in a band, like with like music aside, just being able to hang as friends and have those conversations was, from the get-go, really. I was like, even like, I remember the third song that we did on the album, like, you were FaceTiming me to show me the riff, and then that turned into like a 2.5 hour, like, freaking full deep convo. So
we have our deep chats, man. Like every time, it's like Nick and I will always have like these really very, very soulful, deep conversations, because we can relate on a lot of levels. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm allergic to small chat, man, and it's just Nick and I had this immediate, just bond with that and connection. And then, it's just, that's the brothership grew, and that only made our chemistry as being in a band together even better and grow, so.
How did you get, like, what happened with Steve? Like, I mean, I know that Greg Fillinganes is back in Toto, and that's great, and everyone's happy about that too. And, where one fits, the other fits over here. How did that happen? How did you get? Well,
Steve, yeah. I mean, he's in it. I mean, he's doing the Toto thing, and the discussions of all of that, because building a band is, Steve's going to be with Pop, so we're also figuring out the shows and the set without Steve, and when we know that we're going to have to, obviously, whenever Steve can come play a show with us, he's there. But we also are figuring out, because building a band takes a lot of time, and we need to play as many shows and opportunities that pop up. So we're figuring all of that out. But yeah, so no, Steve's very much a part of Toto, and he's very much a part of us. We're just trying to figure out, and we are figuring it out. We already have it all together. It's just, some shows are not going to be with Steve,
So is he doing the Ray Manzarek or the Doors thing as a keyboard player, doing the bass?
Yeah, so he does that. We also have so he's doing synth bass with keys, and then we also have the electric bass going through track. But all together, no one even notices. Our live show is huge sounding, and we also have a bass player coming in tomorrow because once again, like if Steve's not around, filling a sonic space with a bass player and putting some keys on tracks, it's like. We're doing all of the damage control, I guess you could say.
When's the album coming out?
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, it's done for the actually, it is done.
It's not like we got the masters last night. Yeah.
So, it is fully finished. I think we're waiting to, for the right time for us. Like, we're still shopping the labels. What's the right move? Like, everything's finished. It could come out next week. It could come out in 4 months. I don't know. I think it just depends on what the right move is for us. The good thing is, at the end of last year, like we had our first single and the band announcement and then our debut show. And after that, it was like, let's just focus on finishing the album. And we took that. And then by the end of the year, we were kind of done tracking.
Yeah.
And so now like everything's in a good spot. We've got like the
sequence.
Yeah, exactly. The track listing done. And so now it's just a time of like, what's the right move depending on which shows or tours or like, when and labels, like what's.
Yeah, we literally met with like promoters from Europe, our dear friends over there talking ideas about summer and fall. And, so we're already, planting the seeds of going out and doing it. And so everything's in motion. Figuring out the right partnership is probably the next step of like, because this album, we're so proud of it. It's a big album, man. So we want to make sure that it's heard and gets as much, love as possible. But the 2 songs that we have out now, we really want, to push those as much as we can as we build these other parts to the team, And it's funny because a lot of people are starting to get hip to us right now. So a lot of things are popping up, and it's just, the build's fun, man. We're having a good time, and it's just the beginning. But Unwanted, I think even if, when a label gets involved, Unwanted is a single that we really believe we're having a push on radio and having a push, getting some serious promotion and marketing behind Unwanted that will take us to where we need to go, because the rest of the album follows up strong too. And but we still have a lot of belief that Unwanted has a lot more life to it.
As mentioned, we'll have more from Nick Collins and Trev Lukather coming up tomorrow. The band is called The Effect, and I love it when I hear new music that really stirs me, that makes me want to have more. We'll have part 2 coming up tomorrow. All our links to The Effect are in the description. Also links where you can join our newsletter and get updated every single time we release a video. If you want to make a donation to the channel, there is a link to PayPal. Also join our Patreon. You'll get early access to all our videos. And subscribe, comment on our videos, like our videos, and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rocky Stream Music.